Hey everybody, what's going on? So, I want to talk about the Traxxas Summit and why I believe it is one of the most versatile yet underrated RC trucks out there today. Now, this truck has been around forever, and when I got into these, I noticed that if you do research on them and you're looking for, say videos on tires and wheels and all that. Videos from like 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 years ago are popping up. And they're still relevant videos, but I've noticed there's not a lot of new Summit videos coming out. And I get it, it's not the newest kid on the block, it's sort of an old dog. This truck's been around for almost a decade. Maybe it has been a decade. But just because it's an older truck does not mean it's not relevant, and just because it's not new doesn't mean it's dead. I know the new trend in RC is the biggest and baddest, latest thing out and all that, but there's something to be said for an RC that has been around this long, almost unchanged, and is still relative in the market. So let's talk about the Traxxas Summit. Maybe you don't know the Traxxas Summit. Maybe you've been looking at buying a Traxxas Summit. You're just looking for an up-to-date video. I'm making this video early 2020. As you can see, I own two of these. Now, I also, if you guys haven't seen my other videos, I own Bajas. I own an X-Max. I own a Creighton. I own some 10th scale monster trucks. I own, a TRX4 Defender. So I'm into all kinds of RC. And that's one of the things I like about this is it's sort of that do-it-all kind of RC. Now, it's no speed demon, but I like to joke around and call the Summit the king of the mountain. Because if you're looking for like a trail truck, or, maybe you're looking for just kind of a light basher, that even maybe the kids could drive around the yard or something like that, or somebody's maybe their first RC. This thing checks a lot of those boxes. It's a very robust, very well-built truck. And so this is my girlfriend's black and purple Summit that I've had for a while. She's driven it a lot. I've driven it a lot, and I've come to fall in love with it. I never anticipated getting one of these. I thought, well, this would be cool, to have it sitting around the shelf. Something she could drive as a, if I go out and drive the X-Max, something she could drive the Summit, go out and play with the Summit, stuff like that. Or if we go on trail hikes, we like to go trail hiking. I could take my Defender and she could take that, and everything like that. But I've noticed a lot of the trails we're doing are rougher mountain bike trails, and some of them are just almost maybe a little too much for the Defender. And I started to really, really dig the Summit. And after I went on a 5-mile trail hike the other day with hers, I immediately came home and ordered this bad boy. I'd been eyeballing it for a while. I really decided to go with the orange because honestly, this was sort of the best deal I found. I picked this up for $469. Actually, I got both these for $469. Got this from a local shop. My local shop couldn't get any right now. They're kind of on an ordering hold with all the virus stuff going on. So I picked this up online. Got the orange because I thought it looked cool for a little bit. And I'm going to do a custom build on this one, new wheels and custom painted body, all that. Do something pretty cool with it. But I like the orange. So let's talk about what the Summit is real quick. So if you guys don't really know, let's hit the high spots. The Summit is either a 1/10 or a 1/8 scale, depending on who you ask or how you look at it. The body itself is a 1/10 scale. This is about the size of a TRX4 Defender as far as the actual body shell. Lexan body does attach with body clips. Now this one actually has the Pro Line body mounts with the screw-on tops. We'll talk about those in another video. They've definitely got some pros and cons, but they're pretty handy. I'm going to put them on this one. You do have to do some mods to do it, but it's relatively easy. Anybody can do it. Like I said, no, not getting ahead of myself here. So 1/10 scale body, but the chassis itself with these big 40 series tires, or with a 3.8 40 series, basically same thing. Its size is more like an 1/8 scale. So its wheelbase is about the size of, say, a Creighton 6S, something like that, like a Revo, an E-Max, something like that. Actually, this shares a lot of parts with the Revo or the E-Max. So, a lot of stuff interchangeable. It's just a very solid chassis. Fully independent suspension, four-wheel drive. It comes with the TQI 5-channel radio system. Now, this is the same radio system that you're going to find in your Land Rover, your Defenders, stuff like that, your rock crawlers from Traxxas that have the 2-speed and the locking diffs. So you do have a nice radio. It is Bluetooth link enabled. You do have the 2-speed switch right here, so you can go from basically crawl mode to sort of bash mode. Crawl mode on these is going to run 6-7 miles an hour, definitely more than walking speed. I mean, you can walk with it up the trail at half throttle, maybe even a little less. So it's definitely got a good low crawling gear for rock crawling and stuff like that. Flip it into high gear, it'll do mid-20s, probably 24, 25, depending on what kind of battery you're running in it. And then up here on the top, you've got the selector switch all the way back as diffs all the way unlocked, locked front, unlocked rear, full lock front and rear. So that is nice. So that is what you get with the Summit. So very, very good RTR radio. It's not the greatest radio, but I really like them. So you're going to get the Lexan body with the EXO cage. Got this nice roll cage on it. As you can see here, we'll maybe throw in some stills at the end. It does come with a light bar up here on top. Now this is a faux light bar, but you take out a couple screws here, kick a hole in the body right here, and this is pre-mounted for a light bar. $15, you can buy the Traxxas replacement light bar. Looks exactly like the one it comes on, except it is wired with LEDs. The truck is pre-wired LED. It does have 4 lights in the front, 2 kind of KC fog lamps and 2 bumper lights, and then 2 rear tail lights like brake lights in the rear. So you do have 6 LEDs factory, and you can add 4 more for a total of 10 natively to this truck for an extra $15. So that's really cool. Faux beadlock wheels. These are glue on. They're about 6.5 inches tall by about 4 inches wide. You do get these sort of faux beadlock rings. Now, when I change my wheels out, if she ends up thrashing these wheels, I can take her purple beadlock rings off and put them on these, so she'll have an extra set of wheels. It does come with the Canyon tires. Very soft foams, very sticky. Not the greatest for just everyday use, but for rock crawling, stuff like that, I mean, this thing will crawl. If you can't crawl up it with a Summit, you don't need to be rock crawling it, because you ain't getting up it. Like I said, it's not scale. If you're a scale guy, this isn't the truck for you. But if you just want to go out and have fun and kind of do everything, a little bit of bashing, a little bit of trail, a little bit of rock crawling, just an all-around fun RC, you cannot beat the Summit. And not to mention, it just looks tough. I mean, it's a tough-looking, just beast of an RC truck. Really, really dig it. My arm here, I mean, it's a big truck. It's pretty good size. This is like a 6-foot countertop, and I mean, it's taking up all but a foot and a foot of it. So these things are pretty good size. So let's go ahead and get the orange one out of the way, and let's actually no, you know what? Let's go ahead and get the purple one out of the way, because it's got the Summit body mounts on it, and they're a little bit more difficult to take off. And we'll take a look at the. Okay, cool. So got you guys a little bit more position here. Maybe you can see a little bit better. I need a bigger hubby room. So don't have the body clips in this right now, and I will tell you guys the body clips on this are slightly annoying. The truck does come with these little foam blocks that go under the corners. I wouldn't put them on. You'll never get the body clips in it. And it doesn't really rattle. I mean, I don't have the clips in it, and it's not really moving. But, the body shell fits real nice. It's a pretty heavy body shell. Thin leg, standard Lexan body. But with the EXO cage, it's very tough. You could add a basket up here if you wanted. Here's that light bar we were talking about. Just a couple screws hold that on. Very, very simple to put one of those on. Anyone can do it. Actually, my girlfriend installed the one on hers, and she's never wrenched on a truck in her life. So go ahead and take a look inside here. So this truck runs on 2 LiPos or 2 nickel metal hydride batteries. I would just run LiPos. You're going to get longer run times, unless maybe you got kids or something, and you want a little something they can charge. Maybe at that point, I'm not a huge fan of Traxxas battery chargers, but if you got kids and they want to use them, just get the Easy Peak charger from Traxxas, and either they're lipos or nickel metals, and they're going to be fine, because it's kind of very, very simple. I hate to say idiot proof, but it's basically just plug and play at that point. So you've got your ESC here, your ESC built for 2 batteries. Titan 775 motor. It's one of the biggest brushed motors you can get. This thing has tons of torque, great motor. Replacement cost on them is pretty cheap. Very easy to set your mesh or anything if you have to. Now the only thing to put those lights in that we're talking about, guys, it's already pre-wired. The wire would come out of here for it. All you got to do is take 2 bolts out right here, pull the motor and pinion out. Very simple. Set it off to the side. Unplug the harness underneath that splits from the ESC going to the front and the back for the LEDs, and then you just put in a jumper wire, put the motor back in, set your gear mesh. You can just mark that with some white out or something like that. Set your gear mesh, bam, you're done. Super easy, 15-minute job, you're done. Right here is your battery trays. They are integrated in right here, kind of like the Revo is, with a little slot back here for your battery wires to come out. And you could mod this to go a little bigger. Vents front and back for your batteries. You could take those out if you wanted to. So very, very well built. Very, very good suspension on this. It's soft, but yet you can set it up reasonably stiff. Tons of articulation to this truck. We're talking, a good 5-6 inches of articulation before this thing even starts to move. So for crawling and stuff, that's great. And you don't get a ton of body roll. Now, if you're in high gear, you can roll it. I'm not saying you can't. If you take a look at the suspension here, so if you check out these links right here, these sort of kind of delta wing sort of things here, if you watch how I move the rear suspension up, it basically has a push rod here that comes over and pushes against this, and it pushes your shocks up and down. So your shocks are actually mounted horizontal, just like the E-Max or the Revo. So very, very cool shock setup. It makes it look really cool. Very, very simplistic setup, and works great. They make different linkage arms if you want to change your suspension actuation, stuff like that. They make all kinds of parts for these. 17 mil hexes on these, so your wheel options are, pretty good out there. 3.8 tires, obviously Proline's kind of your go-to, but RC 4-wheel drive makes some killer stuff. It's a little expensive. Duratrax makes some really good-looking wheels and tires for these. So you definitely have options for different wheels, tire combinations, if you so choose, whether you want to go glue or beadlock. You've got tons and tons of options out there. Nice little rear bumper back here in the back. And you've also got a nice bumper up here in the front with your lights. But guys, that is basically your Summit in a nutshell. Like I said, I think for what you get for your money, like I said, these trucks, call it a $500 truck. Is it the fastest? No. Is it the most scale? No. But is it the Swiss Army knife of remote control trucks? Yeah, I think it is, because I honestly can't think of another vehicle for the price that really does everything that the Summit does. If you want to make it faster, you could always do a brushless setup on it. A lot of people have. I don't see the point in it. I really don't. I'm going to stick with stock electronics on mine. I'm just going to do some cosmetic changes, and I absolutely love it. I would almost rather take my Summit out than any other vehicle I own. Some of my other ones are faster and are more adrenaline for 15 minutes, but, I can take my Summit out in the woods and go on a 5 or 6 mile trail hike with a couple sets of batteries and, spend a great afternoon in nature and enjoy the RC hobby. So, really, really dig it. It's something, this is a truck that the whole family could enjoy. If you have a couple trucks, but you want something, the whole family can enjoy, I think the Summit might check a lot of those check marks. I would highly advise you to check out the Summit, even though it's been around for a long time. It's a classic. It's one of those trucks I think is going to be around for a long time, and I will continue to run them for a while. That's why I own 2 of them, because I can't wait for for me and my girlfriend to actually go out and be able to go out and have his and hers trail runs with the Summits. I know Medic over at RC adventures. You know, I think Pinky, his wife's truck Pinky is a Summit. He's got a really badass custom Summit. You know, his is just totally sick. You know, and I think now they got his and hers Raminators, so that's really awesome. I would love to do that, but you know, I think it's cool, especially if you got a loved one and they want to get into the hobby. Summits are a great way to get out in nature, enjoy each other's company and the sport and the hobby, because you know it's not only a fun individual thing to do, it's a great family thing to do too. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. More Summit videos coming. We'll take a look at some of the custom work we're going to do on this, and then we'll take a look at the some trail video of the Summit coming up too. So catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.